Imagine stopping a moving train in the middle of the night, not to hijack it, but to steal millions. In 1963, a gang pulled off one of Britain's most audacious robberies. They cut the railway signals, stopped a Royal Mail train, overpowered the crew, and escaped with a fortune. But the perfect heist would soon turn into one of the biggest manhunts in British history. And it all began with a plan that seemed impossible to fail. August 8, 1963, 4 o'clock in the morning. A Royal Mail train cuts through the darkness of the English countryside. Inside it, millions of pounds in cash. The train is moving fast. Its destination is London, and nobody on board knows that just ahead a trap is waiting. For months, a group of criminals had been preparing for this moment. They had studied the railway, the timetable, the signals, even the smallest details of the train's journey. Their target was not a bank, not a vault. It was a moving train. At the center of the operation was Bruce Reynolds, a professional thief with one extraordinary idea: stop the train, take the money, disappear. The plan was simple, but if anything went wrong, the police would be waiting. And as the train disappeared deeper into the darkness, the robbers took their positions. The perfect heist was about to begin. The train continued through the darkness. The crew expected another routine journey. They had no idea that somewhere ahead, the railway had been turned into a trap. The gang had chosen a remote stretch of track near Ledburn, Buckinghamshire. Their first move was crucial. They tampered with the railway signals, causing the driver to believe the next signal was red. The train slowed, then stopped. For a few seconds, nothing happened. The driver, Jack Mills, looked ahead, trying to understand why the signal had failed. Then shadows appeared in the darkness. The robbers moved toward the locomotive. They attacked the driver and fireman, forcing them out of the cab. The train was now completely under their control. But the hardest part had only begun. They still had to reach the money. And inside the coaches behind them lay the fortune they had risked everything to steal. The locomotive was under their control. Now the robbers needed the money. Behind the engine was the high-value package coach, carrying cash collected from banks across Britain. The gang forced their way toward the coach. Their target was a canvas bag packed with cash. Then came a problem. The gang had planned to drive the train to their escape point, but driver Jack Mills had been badly injured and could no longer move the locomotive. So they changed the plan. The robbers uncoupled the coaches. Minutes were disappearing. Every second mattered. Finally, the bag was brought out. Around 2.6 million pounds, worth tens of millions today. They had stopped a moving train, overpowered its crew, and stolen one of Britain's biggest fortunes. But now came the most dangerous part: getting away. The money was in their hands. Now, they had to disappear. The robbers loaded the cash into waiting vehicles and raced away from the railway. Their destination was Leatherslade Farm, a remote farmhouse they had prepared as a hideout. For a few minutes, everything seemed perfect. The train had been stopped, the money was stolen, and the gang was gone. But back on the railway, the alarm had already been raised. Police began searching the area. Roadblocks appeared. Every passing vehicle became a possible lead. At the farmhouse, the stolen fortune was carried inside. The robbers had escaped the scene, but they had made one terrible mistake. They left evidence behind, evidence that investigators would soon discover. And that single mistake would begin to unravel the entire operation. The perfect robbery was over. But the manhunt had only just begun. The robbers believed they had found the perfect hideout. Leatherslade Farm was isolated and quiet, but inside that farmhouse, they left something behind. Fingerprints. Police searching the property discovered evidence connecting the gang to the robbery. The investigation suddenly had a direction. Detectives began identifying suspects linked to the farmhouse. One by one, The net tightened. Some gang members disappeared. Others began to panic. The robbery had lasted only minutes, but the evidence they left behind would destroy their plans. Police now knew who they were hunting, and the stolen millions created another problem. They could not spend the money freely without attracting attention. The perfect robbery was beginning to collapse. The gang had escaped the train, but they could not escape the evidence. And soon, the first arrests would begin. The escape was over. Now came the arrests. One by one, the men behind the robbery were captured and brought to trial. The evidence from Leatherslade Farm had helped police connect them to the crime. Several gang members received decades-long prison sentences. But the stolen money was never fully recovered. Some of it disappeared forever. The great train robbery became more than a massive theft. It became a story of planning, greed, betrayal, and one mistake that changed everything. A robbery that lasted minutes created a manhunt that lasted for years. But the question remains, was this truly the perfect heist? Or was it simply a crime that almost worked? If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Everything Interesting World for more unbelievable true stories, mysteries, crimes, and forgotten moments from history. Because sometimes, the most incredible stories are the ones that actually happened.